Hello, good evening, everyone. So, we saw last class for the IP address. So, here, how are you going to define by default class A, class B? So, we saw in this recipe one octet, the class A is network, two octet, the class B is network, class C, three octet as a network. So this network, how we defined in numerical concept. So like class A says that like this. You're going to write with the class A with the full name. Like I'm going to write 10 dot 10 dot 10 dot 10 slash 8. Slash 8 means only the first octet says that this subnet. Slash 16 says that class B. Are you understanding how the slash B came? Slash 16 comes? Or 2 octet as a network. This defined how many octet is a network. Clear guys?
Yes, yes.
And class C says that. Can tell me what will be slash? What will be slash? 3 octet. Oh,
24. Yes.
1 octet class. This is the class A. Class 16 octet. Octet. So we will do some lab and later on. So let's do the first lab we do, that is called C2 communication. Called
PC to
one PC1 connected to PC2. We'll see how they communicate, which wire I supposed to use, what are the configuration we have to do PC1 and PC2, what header will be flagged with this wire, what packet going to will going to I start lab, then so open the packet. Okay, are you able to see my screen guys?
yes, sir.
Now so we are going to back C2 communicate the zero. I'm going to configure PC as a P. I'm going to configure the name as a PC. Now tell me, for PCs are same layer of device, so cross cable connection or straight through cable will be the same device going to use straight through cable or crossover.
Sir, straight.
Straight for different. If I want to connect PC to router, okay, then one is straight. If the device is opposite, device are same, then we have to use the crossover cable. So which connector I supposed to connect? You have to connect fast Ethernet. I connect green. Suppose I did not select it as a cross this, that I want to show you lab. Suppose I don't want crossover cable. I use the straight through. What going to happen? Fast Ethernet connected. They're straight through. The port is down. Here, guys,
Yes, sir.
because of wrong cable. Because same PC, so they need crossover cable. If the different like router to switch, switch to router, router to PC, switch. So this way you have to use the sorry straight through cable
Straight.
there, but here you have to use the cross this and crossover cable acted both the PC. So you understand this part? Should I move further?
Yes, sir.
Ah. Now, as soon as I connect something going on in between all that not, we're going to see. Let's see what are the protocol is running. Type on this. There's no protocol running. They not do any communication. One device by default, like you can see the in router switch. So always you remember there is nothing running by default between you have to initiate because these are the layer 7 device. Clear? Yes, so now come to I'm going to configure what we going to configure what we have studied right now. What we study? We
Sir,
study
net.
address.
Yes, sir.
We are doing the lab of IP address. What is the role of IP address? This is the network internet protocol. Internet protocol is the first protocol which help you to communicate between two. This is the first layer, network layer, where they going to establish the communication. Okay, you can start networking. You can start the troubleshoot from the network layer. So we going to start the troubleshoot from the IP. Then we will reach to MAC. That's why this is the layer where we have to define. So as soon as I will go here, you can go to desktop here. Click IP configuration. Can you see this is IP configuration, guys?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do. I click that IP configuration. So you can see static. You can see DHCP. Next upcoming class, we're going to do the lab of DHCP. Okay. Right now, I will do static. So understand what do you mean by DHCP? What do you mean by? Let's understand. There is a two method of IP assignment. How many method? Tell me.
That's
Two method of assignment of IP. What do you mean by assignment of IP? Means PC going to be configure IP. IP configuration. There is two way we can configure IP. What I can configure IP configure. There is two. First method manual. I will go. I will open the. Means I will manually will going to describe the IP configuration. This is one method. Second method is dynamic. Second method is dynamic. What do you mean by dynamic? Okay. What do you mean by dynamic? So first understand manual. So if you are doing manual, so you have to write the pen and paper you have to take. You have to write the PC, IP, and then subnet, and then gateway. You have to manually, you have to find this. So maybe while you are doing for 5 or 10 PC, you can able to remember, you can able to manage. But if you have 200 PC or 2000 PC or anything big number of host, can't able to remember, that's going to be very tough to manage. Are you agree?
yes, sir.
Because you have to write everything in. Remember to whom I give, because IP you have to give unique IP to everyone. So there is solution come DHCP. What is the full form of DHCP?
Dynamic host control protocol.
Yes, dynamic host configuration protocol.
Yes.
Means we are doing here manually we are configuring those hosts with the IP address. This is going to done dynamic and they are going to maintain all the information. So right now we will do the static. We have three labs. One lab for DHCP, one lab for static, one lab either no static neither DHCP. Have you think about that? Suppose you have not configured manually also, and of course there is no DHCP. Then who will configure that? Something called APIPA. What is called? APIPA. What is called?
APIPA.
Yes, what is the APIPA? A for automatic, P for private, automatic private IP Internet Protocol Addressing. APIPA. Means this is very good role. We will do the lab today. We will do the static lab right now, and and we don't have DSCP. We will do the lab in the next upcoming classes for DSCP, and the lab today we will do static, and we will make another lab to absent the static. As I will not available the with the DSCP, both the things will be available. I'm sorry, unavailable. Then see how a people are going to assign automatic IP to that. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Interesting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see that. Means we study three things. We understand the IP. Now we are understanding to who going to configure IP. So in here I can see the in lab there is two options. Something called static, which we have to do manual. Okay. Second, we can see the option of DHCP, means that's going to be dynamic. So if it's there is no static, neither DHCP, then who going to configure? Both the option going to absolute. So who going to configure? That time that's role come APIPA. So we will see what is the APIPA. First we will see the static one. So I have selected static and I am going to give the IP. So we have two PC. I am going to use the only the class C. So class C 192.168.5.1.1 or 11 I. As soon as I will click here, they took automatic subnets. So this they took /24. Can you see that?
/24.
No, this is not 24. All the bit. How many bits we have? 255 means 8 ones.
Yes, sir.
Another 255 means another 8 1. And third octet having 8 ones. So how many ones we have? 24
24.
ones. /24.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Great. Now I don't need to give the default gateway right now because no need any gateway. Now how do I check this IP is assigned to my PC? You have to go for, you have to click this after IP configuration. You have to click, see that these are the inbuilt tool what we have in laptop. So we have to, after IP configuration, we have to go for the command line interface. I will click here. This is the command line interface. Okay, and I will configure. I will check my configuration. IP config. This command IP config. Enter. You can see this IP address signed with the server. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let's ping yourself. That is called self ping. What is called self-ping means what IP you have assigned, you are pinging yourself. So why you are pinging yourself? I want to see my stack are working. My network, generally network stack always work if you have, so means self pinging is working. Everything is working fine in my lab. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next way, same way I'm going to assign here. I will go to the static assign also. I'm going to go static and going to unique IP. So manually I have to understand I given 11, so I will give this
12.
PC to 12 or any other IP that's supposed to be, this is 12. I'm going to ping directive 192.1.1.12. This is self pinging. Now let's understand the here. I'm going to start packet capture. If I will ping this PC to this PC, is from 11 to 12, what going to be? What going? So let's do that. So I'm going to, this time I'm going to ping to whom? To my other PC. Hear this. Now you can see the packet. There is three packets are generated. Sorry, two different packets. ICMP and ARP completed that. I'm going to stop. More than enough. Let's understand. So we have generated two things, two packets. First packet is ICMP. ICMP, of course, if I will ping, ICMP will be there. I'm going to click ICMP. I can see that here IP. Can you see here? Everyone, guys.
Yes, sir.
So something called here the IP address source as 11 and we ping the destination as 12. You can see header. This is called IP header. What is called?
IP header.
IP header. What is the IP header? IP header says that this is the header. Source IP address is this in the header. Destination header is nothing. They encapsulate the packet. What information? This is apart from data. They understand what type of. They are telling that this is, we're going to discuss this IP header upcoming classes. Why this header? How this comes in? And this is called ICMP header. We have two header on the which level? Transport layer level and IP. Okay. So let's see. Have layer 3 header. This is layer 3. Now go to ARP. This is layer 2 header. You see header, this is the layer 2 Ethernet. This is, so later on we're going to discuss layer 2 header, layer 3 header. So ICMP is the layer 3, whereas the ARP is layer 2. So what happened here? I'm going to start from ICMP. Here try to understand this is a very important for interview perspective. They will ask you how host to host communication happened. You have to remember there is only two protocol is responsible for host to host communication. What are those protocol? The ICMP and ARP. So ICMP is what they do. They send from PC1 with the layer 3 address. What is the layer 3 address? Source as 11.11, 192.1.2.11. Destination is 192.168.1.2. 1.12. They created the layer 3. Now, what happened next level after creating the layer 3 packet? They want to know what is the layer 2 because they know the first IP, so they have MAC address of source MAC address. This is the another address that is called layer 2 address. We going to study upcoming classes what is the MAC address. So they say that we have MAC address, but I don't know the destination address. I know layer 3 address destination is 1.12, but I don't know the MAC address of that. So they are telling, okay, then wait, let park your ICMP. First understand what is the layer 3 address, sorry, layer 2 address. And it's going to give, he assume that this is the broadcast, FFFFF, means it's going to be broadcast, layer 2 broadcast. Now, it reached to the PC2. From PC2, they reached. They are telling, oh, you are looking for a MAC address of this 1.12, my IP address. You want the MAC address of that? I'm going to, I know that MAC address. And instead of FFF, he has answered that ARP request with his own MAC address. Okay, the MAC. Now, after that, PC2 going to build this MAC address on their ARP table, means PC1 they have ARP table and PC2 also having ARP table, means every PC going to create the entry into the ARP table. Once ARP table is completed, then again they will start the ICMP thing because they have MAC address source to destination. They will connect on the basis of, you can see now the communication start happening. They have IP as well as they have MAC. There is no FFF. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So ARP table. How do I see the ARP table? I'm going to take time on. Now the ARP table is built up. Let's see. Command is called ARP A. You can see the 12. 12 is not his IP address. 12 is a neighbor IP address. First, he assigned the IP, this IP, one MAC address that is called physical address. We study next upcoming class. We study one is a IP address. Next upcoming class we study the physical address. Means every IP address need a MAC address to communicate the next host or next device. Here,
Yes, sir.
first build the ARP table, then only they are able to ping. You can see the 11 entry going to be happened on PC. See, one IP address is 12, but he has entry of the entry of ARP table. ARP table, that's the IP 11. Everyone maintain, once you reach, they always maintain the MAC address to other device, to directory root, sorry, directory reach to that device. Communicate to the clear, guys. Understand the lab. I move to part of the lab. Do you
Yes, sir.
understand active autocom? Now the only the small part left APIPA. What I'm going to do? I'm going to remove this static. Okay? I'm going to remove this static and I'm going to DHCP. Do we have DHCP? Yes, we have in this network. Yes,
No, sir.
No, there is no DHCP. Even though I am going to tell, but what going to be fail?
Automatic.
DHCP going to fail because there is no DHCP. And if DHCP fail, who going to be come into picture?
APIPA.
APIPA is being used, and you can see the IP assigned by the APIPA. Can you see this IP?
Yes, sir.
169.254.144.67 slash 255.255.0.0. Tell me what will be the subnet? This IP belong to which class? IP belong to which class?
Class. Sir, class E.
No, two octet only you have slash 16.
Yes, yes.
So which class?
A. Class A.
Class B. If you remember, class B is a two octet only the network. And 169 belong to which number?
Yes, sir. B. B.
B. This is a class B. Class 16 means these two octet going to be reserved. Means all the IP going to start from 169.254. Okay, let's do for this again another one. I'm going to do DHCP. So DHCP, there is no DHCP server, it's going to fail, and then APIPA going to be, you can see 169.2 means whenever you see this number, this is not a real number, means it's a real number, but this is not a given by the manual, either not used by the DHCP. This is by the APIPA. What is the number? 137.19. So these IPs are pingable. Yes, these IPs are pingable. Let's check it out. Go to, I'm going to config. Sorry, I'm going to close this. I'm going to check what is the my IP. IP config. So my IP is 169.254.3. Sorry, 254.137. I'm copy from here. Close. Check what is the IP here. We are receiving here also 169.2.1. So let's this not another PCI. That's they can able to communicate using the API. Clear, guys? So this is the temporary purpose. If your DSCP fail, you should not configure manually. Your LAN communication continue. Clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please do this lab. So you can practice static and APIPA if DSCP. So next upcoming class we're going to study DSCP. Okay, then we will move with the physical address. We have to entire CCNA. We have to understand addressing. First is called IP addressing. Second is the MAC address. And entire network world going to work. IP. By this, I'm going to stop this session. I'm going to start the upcoming classes with the new testing, and we will see the podcast for all. Bye bye.